Hey, 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 welcome back to the hottest podcast in the city, Be Beauty, where we are bold,
Educated,
ambitious,
unstoppable,
unstoppable, talented,
talented,
and
and
yielded,
yielded.
where we want you all to grow and glow with God's purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. How is everyone doing today?
Doing great.
Hey,
Excited.
we are so excited. We are continuing the recap of the Black Men's Mental Health Conference with the conference organizer,
Camellia.
Camellia
Amelia.
Harris, conference organizer, and Just Us nonprofit
Yes.
as well. And then we have Deanna Clark
Mhm.
with Live Out Loud, domestic and abuse violence organizer. And we have Dayton's very own Mayor Mims in the building with us. Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
And we are so excited. Yes. So
And
we'll
so
just,
I'm here as well too, in between these two beautiful roses. Yeah, how's that?
yes.
I know we will be entertained, with your opening. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, you royal. You part of God's
I
kingdom.
appreciate that. Appreciate
Yes.
that.
Come on now.
You're not a baddie, you a beauty for the community and for the kingdom. And we love
All
it.
right. I gotta come over here every day to get this kind of treatment. So thank you so much.
I know that's right. So we're gonna get into it. Mental health. We had a conversation with Camilla the other day, and it was just a dope conversation. It's such a need for us to have these conversations about Black men's mental health. And you were a
Mhm.
part of the panel.
I was honored.
You were honored.
Honored. When Camilla first came to me, I guess she was sent by Judge Rice
Mhm.
to just let me know about the event itself. And I asked her then, hey, shoot, not only will I go, I mean, can I be a part of the process? Because
Mm.
the aspect of having been a teacher and a coach, a mentor for young men over the decades, and seeing and understanding how mental health affects so many of us in terms of the work that we do, and understand even things that I didn't know, things that I may have felt, but things that I did not know
Mhm.
about just how mental health addresses all of us,
Right.
in some way, shape, or form. So again, just tickled to be a part of the process.
Right.
I love that. So Camilla, for you, we kind of talked about it, but let's go a little bit deeper into you. You said you strategically picked your panelists. Why
Oh,
was
yeah.
that so important for you?
Well, Deanna and I both strategically picked the panel. I think it's
Mhm.
important to make sure that the faces on the panel look like the faces in the audience, right? Um,
Absolutely.
One thing that we realized and we noted that on that day, and hopefully as we navigate forward, no matter what your career is, when we're in the room, we're talking mental health, all egos, all pride, everything becomes leveled. And on Saturday, that's exactly what it is. Men heard from men.
Mhm.
And that's
Absolutely.
what made it so powerful. So, yeah, we did strategically pick, but it was amazing because just like with Mayor Mims, he said yes. So everyone we
Absolutely.
asked, they said yes. There was no hesitation, and that's the joy. Deanna and I always said, like, man, he said yes, and he said yes. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Even for him to step up on the platform with
Right.
us today, we was like, he said yes, yes.
We were excited too. So we understand how
So
y'all feel.
yes. So Deanna, for you, this process of the Black Men's Mental Health Conference, what were some of your takeaways on it? Recap that for us.
And so some of the takeaways from it was definitely that as a woman, it helped us understand the position that we should be in to be able to hear, listen, have empathy and sympathy with
Yes.
African American men who are dealing with mental health issues, and also being able to be that space, create the space for them where they can be vulnerable to say, you know what, today is just not a good day. Like, I'm really going through it mentally, like I'm struggling. And so as an African American woman, to even relate more to our Black men, where we know they have societal pressures, they have the pressure of just being a man and everything that goes into that. Even and we can go as far as, like, racism, police profiling, and things of that nature. Our men have to deal with that. And so going to that conference and listening to men talk about the issues that they are faced with and what they struggle with, it definitely gave us as women the wisdom to be able to be put in or place ourselves in positions so that our Black men can be have a vulnerable space, so that we won't see some of the pain-based behaviors that we do in our community, such as gun violence and things of that nature.
Absolutely. So, Mayor, with you being in education, how have you seen mental health affect some of the students that you may have dealt with, and what has been your approach in that regard?
Well, the issue in terms of my background, which few people maybe realize that I'm a Vietnam veteran as well.
Yes.
And it was one of the things that I volunteered to do, coming from a school system that was predominantly white, and where we always had to work harder to get recognized for our skills, our talents, and to find ways of keeping those skill sets that we had from being suppressed. And still, it's a challenge for Black men, period. But one of the reasons why I did volunteer to go to Vietnam and to fight in that war was to show white America that I cared enough for these United States to lay my life on the line. It was not something that I had to do because I am an only child, and there is a federal legislation that does not require only children to fight in war. I chose to do that again for the reasons that I shared. Carrying those type of that type of baggage, if you will, for lack of another word, and always knowing that there are so many things that are levied against you, and having navigated through so many different challenges, put me in a great position to be a teacher. Once I came back from Vietnam, once I worked in the factory, I worked as a janitor before I took the negative aspect of being told that I was underqualified for the apprenticeship program, and then 5 weeks later to be told that I was overqualified for the apprenticeship program. So we all knew what the answer was to that, or what the rationale was. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to major in graphic arts and come back and take over this department. So that was my reason for going to college. I was prepared mentally, if you will, to take that negativity and turn it into something positive. Now, while I did not come back to that company, I wound up being involved in being in education, and then the career moved from one thing to the other, all in a very positive direction. But knowing how to navigate through challenges and having good support systems throughout the way, individuals who said, keep your head up, keep on moving. I know when I was union president, I was going through some challenges with the board in terms of negotiating contracts for teachers, to see older men who knew my father, who worked with my father, and they would say, because the news media was beating me up, if you will, and they say, I know your daddy. If you half the man your daddy is, I just tell you to stick to your guns because we know you're on the right track. And so that was a stimulator, a motivator, if you will, and sort of like reinforced the fact of being on the right track. Being a coach and a teacher, both boys soccer and girls track. I would tell you, coaching girls track was a challenge.
Now, why was that?
I was gonna say, what you trying to say?
We're gonna go to all detail right now. I get it to you if you have some more time. But the aspect of being able to show young people that they have value, and for them to take that and be reinforced, if you will, that they could do virtually anything that they were asked to do if they worked hard enough at it. And so seeing that type of success, one of the things that I did with in the whole process of my teaching, in 10 years, I had one fight. Okay. And I taught high school as well as 3 years in the military and in elementary. I taught all of them before I did anything about conflict mediation resolution skills. And part of that process was to talk about their zodiac sign, their favorite color, how many brothers and sisters they had, the things that they liked, things that they didn't like, the definition of intelligence, respect, discipline. And so we talked about all those things as a group. And so it created this family atmosphere, if you will, among the young people, Black, white, male, female. And one of the reasons why I think that I did not have the conflict that was shared or viewed in so many other places was because my group, including I did the same thing with my soccer team, my track team, they all felt like they were part of a team. They all felt like they were part of somebody, a big family. So the mental health challenges that we had, because all of us have them,
Mhm.
problems that they had at home, problems that they had with their girlfriend, their boyfriend, and et cetera, et cetera. It gave them strength, if you will. It gave them a comfort space to share. And sometimes I had to tell them, no, don't tell me that. I don't need to know all
Right,
that.
right,
Okay,
right, right.
okay. Because the comfort level that they felt, they could
Yes.
just tell me some of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I call parents to say your son or daughter is acting up, they say, Miss Mims, they listen to you more than they listen to me. So you just do whatever you want to do and whatnot, and you straighten them out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that made me feel well. I mean, very, very well prepared in terms of and reinforced, if you will, for the type of things that we're trying to do. So it played a big role. I mean, if I didn't say too much, it just really played a tremendous role.
I
Right.
think it played a huge role. Like you
Mhm.
said, you found a common ground within your classroom, and you found a way to engage with people and say, okay, look, we all dealing with some things, but
Mhm.
we don't have to deal with it. And then you look like them for some of
Oh
them,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so they felt more comfortable to maybe come up and not have that conflict. They know when they came in Mayor Mims' classroom,
Yep.
they had to behave. So I think that's so important for this generation.
I think that's what's missing now out of the classrooms, out of the schools. You know, I drive the school bus,
Okay.
and so
And you're one of the first educators because you
yes,
see them before they get to school.
yes,
And
and
the
they're
last one to drop them off. Yeah.
and so their mental state, even coming on the bus, is just they're frazzled,
Yep.
Yeah.
and so they take you bring that to home, and you bring that in the classroom. So it's missing. The way you went about things is missing now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Truly. And one of the things that along with that, and I'm honored because there's so many of those young people now. Clearly, they're adults now,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go to any part of the city, east side, west side, north, south, et cetera, young and old. So if I didn't have you in class, then maybe I know your parents because I had you in class.
Right.
And some of them have kids now, and so they're so happy to introduce me to their kids.
Mhm.
Or if they're with a parent or a grandparent, even. Um, the aspect of that is very, very reinforcing. It makes my heart smile. It brings tears of joy. Oftentimes I'm talking about situations, and my eyes will start sweating because of things that
They
we're talking
sweat.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that really sort of reinforces, the things that we're talking about right now.
And I also think that's why it's important with the Black Men's Mental Health Conference. And I thank God that it's going to be something that's going to be an annual thing. And you guys are taking this to the nation because in order for us to return back into our school systems, which you have done for so many children, we got to see our men healed. We got to see our men's mental restored. And the resources that the Black Men's Mental Health Conference is going to be able to provide not only to our community, but communities across the nation.
Right.
So
Let me ask you this. What did you take away from the conference that you feel that you could apply to the community?
Well, first of all, it gave me a chance to hear and learn from so many men who are dealing with issues. And so it made me more comfortable, if you will, to express some of my feelings. It made me more comfortable in validating and justifying the fact that, I don't have a problem with crime.
Right.
I don't have a problem with when I'm
That's
talking
good.
about something that I'm emotionally charged with. And tears coming from my eyes. So knowing that that's okay, if you will, being reinforced, and I've always been very confident, with myself in terms of things that are happening. Again, being the only child, my father was 6'2", 225 pounds with no fat, and so we never had arguments.
I bet y'all did.
Right? Because I knew.
I bet y'all did.
Yeah, I knew what was up. But the aspect of seeing him cry one time because he had given me a whooping that I deserve. Okay. And I walked past the bedroom on my way from the bathroom to my bedroom. And I just happened to glance in the bedroom. He was sitting on the side of the bed with a few tears coming from his eyes. And it still brings tears to my eyes because I was dead wrong for something that I'd done, and taking the punishment. You know, when you sometimes you think that the parents just want to beat you just for the fun of it.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that about my mother because she whooped me about 10,000 times. You know? Okay, I got 13 whoopings from my daddy. I remember all 13 of them. Okay,
Wow.
but that 10 million whoopings seemed like I got from my mother. Of course, they also fell into the mix. But the aspect of those emotions that men are told that they're not supposed to show,
Mm-hmm.
and the aspect of seeing young men again growing up in school situations where they have to act hard. They think they have to act hard, and acting hard sometimes makes it more difficult for them to be successful in places where they need to be more humble, if you
Right.
will. And hearing our speaker, our keynote speaker at first, so I'll talk about those things, and then hearing that from some of the other guests and panelists as well is very, very reinforcing. And I think taking that, that information again, being enhanced yourself, it says to me, like I said in my interview, I don't know if you had a chance to look at that, that I would love to have share these opportunities with more young people.
Absolutely.
In my mentoring with Black males, like I said, from the last 45 years, talking with them about attitudes, about careers, about futures, and things of that nature. One of the key things I said to them some time ago during the time that President Obama was running for election, and about his being successful, of course. And I asked him, why is it you think that he's being given such a hard time? And of course, the first thing that comes out of everyone's mind is, of course, he's Black. I said, yeah, but there's something else. They're thinking. I said, because when you look at his history, he's done things the right way. He went to school, got educated. He worked hard prior to that particular point in time. He got married and had a couple of kids and took care of the kids. You don't hear him involved in any scandals,
Right.
okay, except for wearing that tan suit. But the aspect of what they want to send a message is to all the other Black men is that they don't want any more Obamas.
They don't want any more smart men.
Right.
Yeah.
So they pretend in this facade of this educational process of redefining education to be test scores,
Mhm.
and not to involve yourself in a variety of activities that reveal who you are
Mhm.
and reinforces who you are, and show you how to use those collective individual skills on a broader, more team-oriented concept. They don't want that. They pretend like they want that, but they really don't. And so that's why you see an underfunding of education. That's why you see the reduction in resources for recreation opportunities. That's why you see the type of chaos that is being sown.
Right.
That's why you see them trying to sow division, which unfortunately sometimes we buy into,
Right.
even among Democrats, about who wants to be in charge, as opposed to looking at the individuals who are there, who are making good things happen based upon data that you look at and see for a fact, and then coming together as a team to make sure you improve the quality of life for those who are around you and those who are charged to be around, and not just to fall victim to those individuals who just want to be in charge.
Right. So, ladies, let me ask you all to hear Mayor Mims say he was comfortable or he felt able to be more free with his emotions and conversation and hearing other panelists. How does that make you ladies feel?
Deanna, you can go.
Really, that's what we want. Like
Yeah.
that's why we created this platform.
So you ain't gonna call me a crybaby, huh?
We need more. We need more.
Yeah.
Because just think of how less we would see, and if we can be honest and frank, how less we would see the suicide with our Black. The less we would see child abuse, the less we would see domestic violence, that nature, if our men had that space to be able to be open and vulnerable, and even if I could use this word, actually tap into some of their feminine feminine energy, if I may say, that softer side. And us as women on the other side receiving it, saying like, it's okay for you to cry, it's okay for you to be vulnerable in this space. That to me, or to us, is what we designed this platform for. Because again, with my experience with domestic violence, and then Camille's experience with her father, we feel like if they would have had the opportunity to say like, I'm hurting, I'm not okay, something's wrong, then there would have been preventive measures there that could have alleviated what did actually happen.
And you know what's so interesting? You know, the way I think about it is, how is it that the world shut down the capability God gave us both genders? He gave both genders the opportunity and the capability to cry. But one gender is told you shouldn't.
Right.
That has always blown my mind. So just to, to reiterate what Deanna said and what you stated, Mayor Mims, that was the mission. That statement alone provided clarity that we are creating these spaces for our men to be men.
And the increasing incidence of suicide among our young people is something that I think in so many cases can be minimized or eliminated if there was more openness, if you will, in terms of opportunities for people to be heard, to be felt. And there was a story, I mean, a true story, that as a teacher and as a coach, and having a young man tell me that there was a kid, I mean, he was a star basketball player, and he was on his way home, and he saw this little kid carrying a bunch of books and stuff and papers, and he dropped them. Wind was blowing, he helped him pick them up. And the kid told him after they got to talking, because the kid was so enamored by this basketball star, taking the time to help him pick up his books and move to the next level, going home, that the reason why he was having all the books, when he asked him, what you got all this stuff, man, what you carrying this shit for, man? What's up with you? He said, well, I actually had planned on committing suicide. And I was cleaning out my locker at school so that my parents wouldn't have to come up here and do it tomorrow. And so
Wow.
Because that basketball star took the time to help him in that situation, he changed his mind.
Wow.
So you never know these situations in terms of how you're dealing with people, the difference it's going to make.
Right. So as a community leader on this platform, what is it that you would like to say to your community?
It's a lot. As I try to be the education mayor, and I mean that truly, because as I told the individuals around me, that the day after graduation from high school, if you're not going to college, you're not going to the military, and you're not gainfully employed, you're my problem. Okay, you're not a law-abiding citizen in some cases. You're not able to take care of yourself, or your family, and friends and associates. You're not able to make a contribution to our community. You're draining my social resources, and because you're not working, you're not paying taxes. Okay, so you're not giving me anything to help anybody else with as well. So as I talk about that, in terms about why I am so committed to being a partner with our educational system, and then having the first mayor's conference on youth this past October that has ever been done in Dayton. And then to begin to put things in process to next year have a mayor's council among young people. And so I will meet with them approximately 3 or 4 times a year as a group, those who've been designated by their respective high schools, and maybe middle schools as well. And the reason why this is so important to me, and the message that I'm trying to get, and I'm glad you have given me this platform, is I want to have individuals such as yourselves to come in occasionally and talk to the young men and young women in a very pleasant, non-threatening situation. So they begin to understand at an earlier point in time what some of the values that they have and how they can build on those values, those building blocks of intellectual intelligence, their ability to do math, to do science, to dance, to read, to write, to play baseball. The girls play softball, play golf, all those things. And I tell them that they are keys. Every one of those, they're keys. And every key that you have opens up a door of opportunity.
Yes.
And I think the more we help them understand that in those non-threatening type of situations, and show them again that it's okay to fail.
Right.
It's okay that things didn't go right today or tomorrow. But understand that these skills are also skills that you use in your community, in your daily lives.
Right.
And that's the real purpose of education. It's not just test scores and ABCs and not just everyone going to college. It's how you build yourself to be a contributing member of our society.
Right. So how often are you in like the schools talking to the students or even other community men that are around you? How often do you guys go into the school and have these conversations? You know, just pick a class and pick a school and go in there and talk to the children so that they will know who you guys are and who they can talk to and where they can go to talk to you guys.
Okay, so one of the first things I did when I got elected as city commissioner, we were talking about back in 2014, because of my experience in terms of working with young men and school system, the then superintendent and board president asked me would I help do some things to help Black males. As I began to put members of my committee together, guys like the president of the Baptist Ministers Union at the time, who was William Schooler, Marlon Aldridge, Marlon Shackelford, a couple of board members, Joy Williams, I think, and also Dr. Robert Walker, as well as, gosh, I can't name all the guys. I may be here for a minute. But what we did, we set up this panel, and in terms of this whole Black men's group steering committee. And I came up with the idea that I used before with as teacher union president of having community members come in and teach for a day. So I had 265 men go into Dayton Public Schools and teach for a day. And so we went to virtually all the schools in the city of Dayton, and we spent that time. Later, the whole design was to have each fraternity adopt the high school. So we had, of course, the Kappas, of course, we had the largest group. And so
Kappa guy.
I was gonna say, that's
of course we went over to Dunbar, and the Q had opponents, and the Alphas had I think Meadowdale, and the Sigmas had Thurgood. And so, but the whole issue again was these men going to school. So we were doing it once or twice a month. The school system had new leadership, and they're a little bit up and down in terms of where they are with some of these processes. But my ultimate goal is to teach the young men themselves on how to be mentors, to get young men in each high school and pay them to be trained to be a mentor, pay them to learn their rites of passage so they know who they are, pay them in conflict resolution skills, and then use those young men to go to the 7th and 8th grade into the high school and do some similar things with them. And then to take the 7th and 8th grade as well as the high school guys down to the elementary that feeds into the middle, that feeds into the high school, and create this whole cadre of young men supporting each other, and moving into that space. There are people who are afraid of that because people just do not want that type of Black male excellence to be grown in our respective communities, because it defies the narrative that so many of us have to fight through. And when you have those young men in that space, in that setting, first of all, like I said, always understanding that they have value, and then to be reinforced with young men that are closer to them in age, then they feel more empowered to move in the right direction and move together in the right direction.
and young men that look like them. So I'm
Exactly.
gonna segue that to the ladies as well with a question. Do you all plan on, I know with the conference you guys are going to some cities that are up and coming. Do you all plan to do any partnership with the schools around mental health and domestic violence as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, to partner with our school systems. I know Dr. Darian Greer, one of the panelists that was on the panel from Ohio State University, he currently deals with mentoring services for youth in Columbus, Ohio. And that was one of his things. He stated, how can we fill this room with teenage boys? Now, of course,
Absolutely.
of
Hmm.
course, the attention span is a lot shorter, so it probably wouldn't be a 4 hour thing, but you got to meet them where they are, make it exciting. But absolutely, because before every man and woman is a boy and girl,
Yeah.
and it is important to reach them at a very young age because that's when they're the most impressionable.
Yeah.
That's when a lot of things they're exposed to a lot of things, and the climate of our youth today is completely different than it was when we were growing up. They have
Yes.
so much. Um,
They're dealing
they
with.
have a lot of pressure from social
Mhm.
media, comparison. It's just so much. So to answer your question, absolutely.
Let me add. You say maybe 4 hours may be too long, but the right setting, and like
Mm,
I go in again with some guys, and we go into the schools, and we'll show a movie. Okay,
yes.
so we show a movie, and then we'll stop the movie
Okay.
occasionally and ask them what happened. Uh, what
Mm,
what did this guy do, and why did he do it, and what's the what do you think the consequences are or should be relative to that, and what would you have done in that setting? And it's interesting when we've done those type of situations and those things, and you see, of course, you're doing the pizza and the pop and those kind of things as well. You can have them for an unlimited period of time because
wow.
they're very, very focused and they're very interested in terms of what's happening with that. You begin to open up some minds and some thoughts that you didn't know that was on their mind, and even some thoughts that they didn't know were on their mind. And it's extremely, extremely beneficial in terms of following through those processes.
That's so true. Yep.
Yep.
So
So
maybe
look, there you have it. He giving you a game
There you
plan.
Yep.
so Mayor
Yep.
Mims, maybe being Camellia, and I don't know if this is a plug in or what, but maybe me and you come in and tap into your event in October with the youth.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a plug-in, Deanna. I love it.
It's a good
No.
plan.
I mean, I already include you guys when I said that,
Yes, sir.
about doing that because I think it's
Yes.
extremely, extremely important, and they would not be bored. I guarantee there's some things we can do. Because I know this is movie Boys in the Hood, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching that with my son,
Mm-hmm.
and of course
That's the
we watched the movie.
greatest movie of all
Now,
time.
Yep.
we talked about it once we got home because we didn't have the ability to stop it, et cetera, et cetera. But
Right.
the aspect of sitting down talking about what did Doughboy do and why did they let the other brother out the car when they know they were going to try to kill somebody? The reason why they let him out is because they knew he had other values
Yep.
and he had some skills and a brighter future than what they felt about themselves. So they let him out so he would not get caught up into the things that they're involved in.
Yep.
And
I
so,
love that.
you have times brothers looking out for each other, and try to make good things happen. And so they need to see and hear more of those types of stories and feel about how people feel.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
love
Coach Carter is another movie.
Yes.
Remember
Yes.
the Titans.
Yep.
Um, there's so many great lessons in the right type of movie
Yep.
when you have the right group of young men and older men, gray hair like myself, that are sitting down talking about those situations.
And I think it's important. It builds up their confidence. So
Yes.
when a young boy's confidence is built, he's able to tap his brother on the
Yep.
shoulder or his homie on the shoulder, like, bro, we ain't gonna do that today. Let's go this direction. Or they have respect for where he is in his life
Mhm.
at that point where they're like, nah, you can't ride with us on this one because so let's do that more in our community. So I do have a rhetorical question we have to ask all of our guests. And the rhetorical question, the acronyms for B.E.A.U.T.Y are bold, educated, ambitious, unstoppable, talented, and yielded. Um, well, no, that there's some feedback in the mic a little bit. Okay, there it is. Okay. So I guess the question is for you, Mayor Mims. We know Camellia, She is walking in her true beauty. She is bold. She is educated, ambitious, unstoppable, talented, and yielded with what God has her doing with the Black Men's Mental Health Conference. Where are you right now in your season as the mayor of Dayton? Um, and are you walking in your true beauty? Are you bold, educated, ambitious, unstoppable, talented, and yielded?
All the above. Okay.
I know that's real.
All
I
the
love
above.
it.
And what I'll say that my history, having been elected to several different positions in my past, union president, I've been a leader, union president for 6 years consecutively. Before that, treasurer. Before that, vice president, school board president. I've been on state school board, as well as currently right now city commission. I mean mayor and city commission before that. But the whole aspect is, how do you improve the quality of life for others? And I've taken that mantle. It was given to me. I mean, I didn't go out looking for it. I've been a leader, not knowing sometimes that I was a leader. I've been a leader because it's a function. It's not just a position.
Mhm.
And when people see you in these positions, making things better,
Mhm.
and say, I don't solve every problem, but I make things better.
Right.
And so that's my mission in life that has been given to me, and I wear that like a badge of honor. And I know I deal with individuals sometimes who have a different focus or opinion of what they think government should do and
Mhm.
what they think leaders should do. And for many, sometimes it's a self gratification, and those things happen, but they happen only because you're doing good things.
Absolutely.
And doing good things and being successful means that you're helping the masses of people.
Right.
And so the purpose of government is being good at something and helping others to be more capable of taking care of self and also providing quality of life options for others.
Mm.
Absolutely.
And using your God-given skills and talents to make those things happen.
Right. So
Awesome.
I got one, well, maybe two, but this
Okay.
one, let me ask
That's
this
okay.
one.
This is an honor. I'm really honored to be here.
How closely does the mayor and the superintendent of the schools work together?
Not as closely as we should. In this case, I just be very kind in saying that, but we're moving in that space to hopefully make some of those things happen.
Okay. And another question, because I got a whiff of a program. I don't know if you would know about it or not, but I'm gonna ask. But it was called the maybe Black Girls of Color, something like what they have with the men of color with the boys. Do you know anything about that?
I know all of it. Yes.
You do? And I
It's,
stumbled upon it on accident, but tell me what it is.
Well, actually, I started talking about when I first got on commission. What I started was the Men of Color program, which is President Obama's initiative. He started that. My Brother's a Keeper.
Mhm.
So we started that in Dayton
Mhm.
together with Dayton Public Schools, and it has evolved now until men of color, males of color, really, and then females of color,
Mhm.
and their mission is still to do the kinds of things that we're talking about. They're sometimes not getting as much support as they need to have in terms of moving in those spaces. But you have one of my mentees I had in my mentoring program back in 1987, who is the director, Dr. Stacy Worley, and they're moving in those directions again to the best of their ability.
Mm-hmm.
For the last several years, we've taken young men to the Cincinnati Reds baseball game sponsored by Barry Larkin, Baseball Hall of Famer, as well as Senator Sherrod Brown. And so they have a full tour of the baseball stadium, and they talk to the broadcasters, they talk to the lawyers, they talk to the sports medicine people, they talk to some of the athletes. They look at the Black History Hall of Fame movies about Black baseball stars. They get opportunity to go into work with maybe the fire department like we did when we were there, and have some young men even holding the hose, taking turns rescuing somebody as if they were in a fire situation. And so it increases their knowledge about different careers in those spaces as well.
Right.
And then on top of that, they get like a unlimited pass for all the food you can eat.
Oh.
And then they get to watch baseball games. So,
Okay.
We ain't got no kids mad at the time
Right.
we finish with that. We're going home at 10 o'clock at night. But those type of situations that we've done, the police chief in Dayton partners with me when I go out and do golf clinics for both the boys and the girls and the men of color and the females of color. And those things are fun to do with them as well. And my daughter, who played golf in college, she joins me in doing that, as well as my wife, because she plays golf as well. So it's a good thing to have these support systems with individuals in place. And I'm happy to have the kind of police chief that we have that is involved and wanting to be more community oriented as far as addressing young men in a common space.
Right.
We do barbershop talks.
Yeah.
We even do shops at the beauty shop with ladies. So we're making sure, to the best of our ability, we go where they are. We go to some of their popular places and just interact with them, pretty much like we're talking right now.
Right.
About things that are affecting them.
So the Female of Colors, he has started.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So who do we reach? Who would I reach out to for that?
Dr. Stacy Worley.
Stacy Worley.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. When we leave here, I'll give you his contact information so you can have that.
Okay.
And we do young ladies aspiring for greatness. We got different groups out there doing all kind of great things, and so having them under the umbrella of making great things happen for each other is a good place for me to be.
We love it. Well, we want to thank you all for stepping up on the platform. Camilla, we thank you for this opportunity. Mayor Mims, we thank you for being a part of it. How can those who are tuning in and listening, how can they get in contact with you all? Camilla?
Well, with me, of course, info@bmmhc.com. That's Black Men's Mental Health Conference.com. And of course, by Instagram. And then my name is Camellia Harris, similar to the vice president, except I'm not.
I know that's right.
It's Camellia Harris. And so that's the easiest way as it relates to the conference. And all of that navigates right to me.
Awesome. What about you, Mayor Mims? Is there a direct connection that they can make, or is there a person that they can connect with?
Yes, my office, my chief of staff, Darius Beckham, 937-333-3646.
Love it.
Okay. And so we have that direct contact. Because again, the important thing for me is I'm creating the best opportunity I can for citizens. We got all kinds of job opportunities. We got things to do. And again, main thing I want to do is increase the median income, make Dayton a middle class city again, and have everyone be able to take part of the great riches that we have around us.
Okay, where can they see you at? Are you on Instagram or Facebook or anything?
I'm on all that. Yeah.
What's your Instagram?
I don't know.
Mayor Mims.
Just Mayor Mims. You go somewhere, you'll find
you don't put all that together, huh?
Yeah, Darius has that information. That's my chief of staff. He has all the information. You can see my TV shows on YouTube.
Okay.
It's In the Spotlight with Mayor Jeffrey Mims. And you'll see those. And I think I have probably about 60 shows that I've done and over a period of years. And we talk about some of everything that happens. Okay?
All right. Well, that's cool. Thank you so much.
How they get in contact with you, Rashonda?
You can get in touch with me on Instagram at Miss Divine 34 and on Facebook, I am Rashonda Young.
And before we go, I got a kingdom resource for y'all. Y'all know we're not going to get out of here without a kingdom resource. Psalms 34:17-18. I think it's just so fitting with the topic of Black men's mental health, domestic violence. And it reads this: the righteous cry out, and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. And the Lord is near to those who have a broken heart and saves such as have a contrite spirit. My name is Lady A. McGuire on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Ashley McGuire. Now go be bold, educated, ambitious, unstoppable, talented, and yielded, where you are growing and glowing with God's purpose, on purpose, for purpose.
Amen.
And we out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
You're beautiful, so beautiful.